Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. We're diving into the Joe Budden Podcast today, talking about him and his co-hosts both on and off the mic. But hold up, before I even break down this episode, let me tell you, when I catch them on the JBP, I get instantly hyped. And then they start rolling, and honestly, it doesn't even feel like an interview at first. Girl, it definitely helps that Manny Fresh and Juvenile now have their own podcast. You can see they're totally at ease in front of cameras and rocking the mic because everything flowed so effortlessly. It really felt like they were just chopping it up with old friends, even with people they'd never met before. If this is the vibe interviews are gonna carry from here on out, I'm all in, no questions asked, especially when you've got stories to drop. Manny Fresh and Parks got into the nitty-gritty of music, going full nerd mode on the production side of a beat. And that, my friends, was straight up fire to watch. That's when Parks really shines, in his element. Then you've got Juvenile and Joe linking up over marriage talk, possible proposals, and all that. I gotta say, it's funny. Joe's all adamant about being ready to get married, even though he keeps showing us he's a bit hesitant to fully step into it. Anyway, Juvenile's dropping marriage wisdom, and I didn't even catch that he has a new project out. Everyone was buzzing about his collab with Megan, but here's the thing. Usually, folks hit podcasts purely for promo. This is how you make me check out your latest work without even pushing it hard, just being a solid guest. And let's be real, viewers who don't normally watch their podcast, like a JBP regular, are gonna catch this. I'm not saying the Juvenile Manny podcast shares the same audience as a JBP, most definitely not the majority. So this turned out to be some clever crossover promo without heavy-handed advertising. Think about it. If Vince Staples appeared on the JBP more often, more people probably would have tuned into his Netflix stuff. But anyway, I thought this whole thing was dope. And get this, the interview clocked in at just an hour and a half. Usually, by the end of that, you'd expect things to drag because energy dips after a long day. Normally, you'd peek at the background and see it's dark out, meaning they had to chop it up a ton, which can kill the vibe. They didn't hit their points or touch the spots they really wanted to, so yeah, they had to run that segment again. But nope, the interview wrapped after a solid pod that day, and daylight was still out. So you could feel that energy. They were buzzing, like oh snap. And I gotta hand it to Emanny. Man, Emanny's been shining lately, no cap. I know he still catches heat in the comments, but he's been glowing recently. I thought he crushed it in that interview. He asked the questions Joe normally would, but he did it in a way that felt genuinely hyped and curious. Because when Joe gets in interview mode, you can tell he's trying to lead the convo. But Emanny, he was talking to Juvenile like a fan, finally chopping it up with a legend. And honestly, that vibe beats someone just trying to run an interview any day. The sooner people realize this, the better. We want to hear from the guests, not watch a press tour unfold. We don't need to see them doing promo. We want a normal convo. That's why we tune into the podcast. So if all guests keep sliding in like this, moving forward, and A$AP Rocky is another prime example, it's smooth. If they fit in naturally as if always been part of the pod, nobody's gonna have an issue. And shout out to Joe Scott too, even with that wild-ass outfit. Another solid moment. Honestly, I'll say it, these recent interviews have been really good. What the hell is happening? Feels like they finally pressed the gas. Normally they save their push for the fourth quarter, but last year ended kinda low, and now they came out swinging. We just hit March and already there's been a bunch of episodes I wouldn't call classic, but definitely solid. Some of these even got replay value, and that's a big deal. But keep in mind, this comes from someone who critiques every move they make, so don't take everything I say too seriously. Take it all with a grain of salt. What am I saying? I'm just speculating here. It's pure conjecture. I don't really know what I'm talking about. But anyway, I was hyped by today's episode. I did hear Emanny throw a little shot. I don't know if it was at me, Danny, or someone else in the community. He said something like, "You're not big enough to throw shots this way. You're not big enough to call me inconsistent." And look, I'm not trying to flex, but I did check the numbers on YouTube. It's safe to say he's not talking about me. Was today a good episode?
But seriously, how would you want an interview to go down on the JBP? Instead of me just dropping my thoughts and telling y'all to comment, I actually want to hear from you. What do you think makes a great interview on the Joe Budden Podcast? Because let's be real, they're not going anywhere. The guests keep getting better too. Shout out to him locking that Teddy Riley interview. That was huge. And I see what Joe's doing with these interviews. He knows a lot of these guests come on his podcast because A, it's popping, and B, they're on their promo run. What Joe's doing is squeezing interviews he wouldn't normally get in a traditional one-on-one setup. He's asking questions that cover their entire careers. Every guest that steps up, he always circles back to one of their biggest hits or an album from 20, even 25 years ago. He's doing that because he knows he won't get the full one-on-one he'd want otherwise, so he crafts it in the best possible way right on his podcast. But I want to know, how would y'all like to see interviews conducted going forward? I've been paying closer attention to the people he brings on. I'd feel some type of way if every time a music guest showed up, I was getting pushed to the side. Same if a celebrity rolled through and I got sidelined. This makes it a big deal that Emanny is consistently part of these interviews whenever someone steps on the show. There's a reason the joke about him asking Rod Wave to sign something for his niece exists. He's involved. Meanwhile, big names like Ish and Flip got pushed to the background as soon as Manny and Juvenile bounced. Major players are getting sidelined due to a lack of contribution, and that's a big deal. Thanks for watching, and make sure to smash that subscribe button on my channel.